good for your office. I know. I really.
Well, first I'd like to say that I kind of feel awkward being in a computer club because I wouldn't call myself super computer savvy. I know what I know, and that's all I know. So hopefully I am able to explain this to you and answer any questions that you have about Facebook Marketplace. I agree that Facebook Marketplace for me is also the best place to sell. I have posted on Nextdoor, and you can actually post simultaneously on Marketplace and Nextdoor. But I haven't gotten a lot of response from Nextdoor like I had with Facebook Marketplace. So here are some of the competitors to Facebook Marketplace. There's OfferUp, there's Craigslist, there's Poshmark, there's eBay, Etsy, Nextdoor. I haven't used OfferUp before or Poshmark because OfferUp, I think you are able to do shipping with OfferUp, but you have to use it through them, and it does cost money. So I always just do local selling because I just want to get rid of it, and I don't want to have to drag it to and find the right box and all of that. I'm just lazy, so I only sell local, which I will show you later on. Craigslist, I don't trust. There's a lot of scammers and a lot of just bad rumors about stuff that people that sell on Craigslist. Usually when you read something in the paper that somebody got hurt or scammed, they listed it through Craigslist. So I personally don't feel safe using Craigslist. Poshmark, I believe, is just mainly clothing, and most of the time I'm not selling clothing. eBay, I have used some eBay, but eBay does have fees with it. So again, I'm cheap, and I don't want to spend more time or money than I have to. So
Frugal.
Etsy is actually more for creators. So if you are a crafter, you make some kind of craft, or you're a woodworker or a knitter or something like that. Etsy is more for people who are artisans and are selling their wares that way. And then Nextdoor, again, you can use Nextdoor. I have used Nextdoor, but I get a much better response from Facebook Marketplace. And so sometimes I put it on Nextdoor and then also post to Facebook, but most of the time now I'm just bypassing Nextdoor and going straight to Facebook Marketplace because I get a bigger response. So the advantages of Marketplace is it is free to use. It doesn't cost you any money to list or sell your items. Larger audience, there's 2 billion users in Marketplace itself. You're not going to necessarily have access to 2 billion. And I will show you, you're going to choose groups where you want to post it. And then it's just a matter of how many people are in those groups. But a lot of them are several thousand people. So obviously you can filter the listing by location. So I live in Gilbert, so most of my postings are like East Valley, South Valley, Gilbert, those kind of groups. It's pretty easy to navigate the interface, which I'm going to show you how I do that in a minute here. And it's also fairly secure. There are buyer and seller ratings. And I always rate my buyers because it helps them, and I'm hoping that they're also going to rate me well, because it just makes you more trustworthy if people see that somebody's dealt with you and it's been a good experience. Because there is a lot of scammers out there, and you want as safe an experience as possible. The disadvantages is there is a big potential for scams, and I will tell you about a couple of those. There's no buyer protection. So if you're not happy with your purchase or somebody's not happy with what they bought from you, they're out of luck. You get what you pay for, and that's it. So if it's something that you don't know if it works well, if you're buying it, I would say test it before you take it home. Perfect example. 2 weeks ago, I had a 2-drawer wood file cabinet that I had for sale, and it had a lock on it, but we lost the key. So I had to put on there, it doesn't lock anymore. So I finally found somebody to buy it, and she kind of jacked me around about the time she was going to pick it up. So when she finally did pick it up, I was literally walking out the door to do some volunteer work that I do every Wednesday. So I was rushing, and I picked up the file cabinet to take it to her car, and I bumped into something and dropped it, and it ended up in pieces on my garage floor. And so she hadn't seen that yet. She was walking up, and I said, "I'm so sorry. I was in a rush because you said you're going to be here at 2:30, and I have to leave, and I broke it." And she goes, "Oh, well, let me see." And it was literally a pile of wood. So I felt bad that she made the trip over, but if she had come when she said she was going to come, I wouldn't have been in a rush, and I probably wouldn't have dropped it.
So it's really her fault.
Yep, it's her fault. We're going with that. Yep. So, I mean, obviously, then the sale is canceled and whatever, and you just go about your own way. But I was pretty bummed about that. There are limited products categories. There's a whole bunch of product categories. Most things you can't sell, like pets, anything that might be construed as human trafficking, things like that. Facebook won't allow. And Facebook doesn't offer shipping. So if you want to ship something, you have to be in charge of deciding where you're going to ship it from, whether it's the post office or UPS or whatever, and determine if that person wants insurance and that you want to charge them for that insurance and all of that. So again, if you're going to be shipping, it's a little more of a pain, but I don't ship anything. It's local only. So tips when buying. Before you buy anything, check the seller's ratings. Some sellers don't have ratings, and I don't think that's necessarily a reason to be concerned. Somebody might have just started selling things, and they don't have that stuff. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. But if you do go to buy it, check and make sure that it's what your expectations are before you make the final transaction. Most people recommend meeting in a public place. I always make them come to my house. Again, lazy. But I just feel safe at my house, and I usually make sure that my husband's going to be home. I've never, ever, ever had a problem with anybody coming to my house, but I also don't have it in my house. Like if I'm selling something, it goes in my garage, and I do my transaction in the garage, so they're not entering my house. The only 2 times that somebody entered my house is when I was selling really, really big pieces of furniture, and I didn't want to move it and told them they were going to have to move it. One of them was a pool table, and one of them was a very big sectional. So other than that, though, everything I moved to my garage and do the transaction from there. I always make them pay with cash. Originally, when I was doing this, I would let people pay with Venmo because I had Venmo, but I got potential scams several times, and so I stopped doing that, and I put that in my description, which you will see. I say no Venmo or Zelle, cash only on pickup. There's just too many scammers out there that'll ask for your phone number, and then they'll ask for your email, and then you'll get an email supposedly from Zelle or Venmo saying that you don't have enough in your account, so you need to raise your account to 500, and the person will pay you the difference. And no. That's not how it works. But if something seems too good to be true, it probably is. So the way to get around that is just cash. And some people will say, oh, I can't pay cash because, I got robbed once before, or they'll give you some excuse and then say, well, sorry, you'll have to buy from someone else. It's just not worth it.
Well, that makes sense, because if they have to sell you the money, they have to have cash in their account, so.
Right. But a lot of times, my daughter, for example, bought tickets to it. She went to Indiana University, and she bought football tickets from somebody who, it said, had sold lots of tickets. And it was another student. It was like a student ticket site, and she never got the tickets, and she was out of it. And Venmo basically said, well, you said you trusted this person, so you get, you're out of luck.
Just what I've done previously, especially if it's a high ticket item,
Mm-hmm.
is I'll meet them at the bank.
Oh, okay.
And we'll just do the transfer right there,
Mm-hmm.
and so usually the item will be in the back of my car or
Right.
truck. And
yeah, unless you have a big item. Like
well, yeah.
lot of the stuff that I have sold in the last year and a half were big items so that I can move to Arizona and not pay a fortune in the moving truck or have to get a second moving truck because I had too much stuff. So, all right, so I'm going to go to my Facebook here. So this is my Facebook, and I'm going to look at this instead. So, for example, these are some of the things that I have recently sold from my move. So some of them were decorative items. I sold a fish tank. Now, sometimes I will put things on there for free because it's pretty hard to get rid of a mattress and box spring. But there are always people out there who will take it in a heartbeat. So I just put it on there as $0. And in the description, I would say free queen mattress and box spring. And I would put the name of, well, here, let me just pull up what I said here. So here's a picture of it, and here's my description. I just said queen size dual pillow top mattress and box spring, bed skirt and frame not included. Priority will go to whoever can pick up the soonest, and my subdivision. I didn't give my actual address, and I don't give my actual address until I've come to an agreement with the person that they are going to do it. They have the basic area. Now this is when I lived in Indiana, so most of these are going to say St. John. But I got a lot of requests. But the key here was priority to whoever can pick up the soonest, because I was moving in 2 days and I needed to get it out of the house. And so that was a little tricky because somebody said, I can come pick it up now. And I said, great. And then they're like, oh, wait, I can pick it up in 4 hours. And in that little time, I had 4 more people that said, yes, I can pick up now. So then if that's the case, then I would usually go to the next person who posted and say, can you really pick up now? How far away are you? And if they then change their tune, then I'd say, I'm sorry, I have other people who can pick up now, and kind of went that way. But obviously when you post something free, it gets a lot of people's attention. I actually, more than Facebook, well, it was Facebook, but not Facebook Marketplace, is we had something called St. John Free Cycling, which was all free stuff. It was one of the groups within Facebook. So most of the time when I posted free stuff, I would post it in there because I knew it was really local. It was in my town, and I knew people would get right in the car and come pick it up. I don't think I put anything on that was at my house more than an hour after I posted it. So if I knew I wanted to get rid of something quickly, I'd post it on the free cycling site, which there might be those in Arizona, but I haven't checked since I moved here because whatever I still had, I was trying to get a little money for. So just some of the things: office chairs, outdoor chairs, stools, snowblower, because I don't need that in Arizona.
Well, it depends.
You never know.
That's true. And actually, I didn't introduce myself, but I am Steve's stepdaughter, and they actually gave me the snowblower when they moved to Arizona. So when I sold it, he says, am I going to get a portion of those proceeds?
Well, you just re-gift it.
He still hasn't seen them, but soccer nets that my husband wanted to keep forever, even when my kids stopped playing soccer. Ping pong table. Okay, so here's a perfect example. This was a well-loved recliner, love seat. And so I would post pictures. I wanted people to see that there was wear and tear in this. And I would put on there, seats have quite a lot of wear. I put the measurements of how big it is, even though some people would go, how big is it? And then I go, read the description. So, and then here, as you can see, I put cash only on pickup, no Venmo or Zelle, and then I would put where I'm located. Because a lot of times, even if this is the area that you choose, sometimes people will share it outside of that and people will contact you. Because this is the border to Indiana and Illinois. We are like 15, 20 minutes from the Indiana-Illinois border. So a lot of times Illinois people would reach out to me. And so here's we were talking about seller ratings. So I have almost full 5 stars. The reason I don't is some lady was mad that I didn't tell her I had cats when I was selling a piece of furniture.
I thought it was the one that
So-
came for a broken.
So she no, that one didn't. So, and a lot of people don't rate, and I don't ask people to rate because I feel kind of awkward about doing that. But you can ask people, can you give me a rating? So originally I was selling this for $75 and I ended up selling it for $60. I usually post a price more than I think I'm going to get, so that when they kind of try to negotiate with me, I end up with the price that I really wanted in the first place. So quite honestly, when I posted this, because it had a lot of wear and tear, I didn't even know if I'd be able to sell it. I thought I might have to post it for free, but I thought I'm going to try to get a little bit of money out of it, and it worked. So, I've sold lots and lots of furniture. Here's a pool table that I sold, which I was really excited about because I didn't want to move that, and
It was in a basement.
it was in a basement, yeah. And the people had to agree to move it and take it apart, and I put on there that they need somebody who knows how to do that. So if you see here, it says, you will need a professional pool table moving company to disassemble and reassemble, because I didn't want anybody coming back and saying, we're carrying up the stairs and the table broke. Well, that's on the company that you hired. I'm not responsible. And so I did end up selling that, which was pretty exciting. Yes.
I'm curious now, because this has always been kind of a issue when I'm putting stuff up on Facebook. Do you have a process for pricing? Or,
No. I just kind of decide what I think it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll usually, if it's something that I can look up online, I'll
Right.
Google it, or I'll look on eBay and see if there's something similar and how much it's being asked for and that. Like my husband was really mad at me because these Ethan Allen beds that were his when he was a child, he thought I should be asking $250 each instead of $250 total. I said, we're not going to get that. So
Usually what I do, especially when it comes to technology or, tech gear,
Mhm.
is I look, see what the price new is, and sell it for half.
You can
And
do
that
that
usually
sometimes.
works
Yeah, a lot of
pretty
times.
well.
It depends on what the item is, but a lot of times
Yeah.
that'll work. And I ended up selling these for my asking price. There's some things I get the asking price for, and most things though they want. Will you take X amount of dollars? And if it's where my original price was, then I say yes, or else I counter offer them. So this is another example of a table and chairs that I sold, and I'd had it for a long time, but the biggest issue with it was I had this when my children were toddlers. And so right here in the middle, we actually had a pumpkin that leaked and put a stain in it. And then I think I have some pictures of the chairs. Yeah, there's the stain. So I want people to know. So obviously the finish wasn't really great, and so I wanted people to know, this is not in perfect condition. And actually someone bought it and ended up redoing it completely. So, but it was still a good table, and it was sturdy, and that's what I was hoping, that somebody maybe would buy it and refinish it, whether they were going to sell it again or for themselves or whatever. Okay, so right now I only have one thing still listed, which is a wall mirror, huge heavy mirror. And originally, it doesn't have the original price. So originally I had it up for $75, because I think my mother-in-law paid $800 or something for this 15 years ago. And it's really heavy. But I wasn't getting any traction, so I went down to 50. Still wasn't getting traction, so now I have it down to 40. If I don't get any traction, I might go down to 25. I'll ask my husband because it was his mom, so I let him decide if he wants it. And if not, then I donate it. So most things I don't end up having to donate, but I will if I have to. So that's the only thing I currently have on. But I'm gonna just show you an example of when I do a listing. So today I took a picture of my thermometer. And I'm pretending that I want to sell this thermometer. So I actually don't usually do this on my computer. I usually do it from my phone because it's easy for me to just to take a picture and then to post it. But so you're going to post your picture. Facebook lately has really been promoting to add a video, but I don't know, for most of my stuff, it's just me going, and here's this side of the thermometer, and here's this side. It just doesn't work. If it was something that was moving or something that you wanted to show a lot of the details, like my pool table, I might have done a video for the pool table so that people could have seen the inlays and the leather pockets and things like that. But for most things, I just take a picture and I post it. And if it's something like the table where there's some damage or things like that, then I will do multiple pictures so that people know what they're getting. So then I would just go to title and I would put in thermometer.
That must have been here because it's pointing to 100.
Yeah. This was actually the picture that I took and sent all my friends in Indiana and said, I'm melting.
And that's not going to change for another 3 months.
No, it's not.
Video for 3 months.
Well, and luckily I was here last summer, which wasn't as bad as this summer, but everybody's like, well, you wanted to go into dry heat, and I'm like, yeah, it's much better than the humidity. So let's just say I want $10 for this. I can either say I want it either put the price at 20 or put it at 15, whatever I think people are going to try to jog me down to. And then there's categories. So for this, it might go in like home and kitchen. I don't know, maybe I would call it home decor. So it can take you in all different options. And then condition, if it's brand new, you put new. If it's like new, like you just brought it back and brought it home and, it doesn't match my carpeting, so I'm going to do like new. Most of the stuff I list is good because it's still in good shape, but it's not brand new. Color, you can put the color. You don't have to. A lot of times I don't put the color, but I'm just going to call it white because it's mostly white. Decor style, I almost never put because I'm not a fashionista, so I don't really know what things are listed at, I know if something's modern or if it's country, and that's about as far as my fashion goes. Material, like you could say maybe it's, plastic. Sorry, I have my fingers in the wrong place. And then here's where I would put this description, and I would say, outdoor thermometer, plastic face, works great. Cash only, local pickup, no Venmo or Zelle, located in Gilbert.
Guaranteed not to rush to about 100 degrees.
SKU, if you want to put the SKU number on it, you can. Boosting the listing means you're going to pay Facebook to get it out to more people. I personally have never had any luck boosting anything, so I wouldn't recommend boosting, but some people want to. And then if you don't want your friends to see this, you can hide from friends. I usually don't hide it from friends because I want my friends to get the word out that I'm selling something. And I've had several things sell because my friends knew a friend that was looking for like a dryer, and I had posted a dryer. But if like you're regifting something and you're friends with that person on Facebook, you don't necessarily want them to see that you are trying to sell the gift that they gave you. So I usually do not hide it from friends. And some people just don't want their friends to see it because they're just private people and they don't want their friends to know how much they're selling stuff for. So it's personal preference. So then I say my location is in Gilbert. Local pickup. Then here is my group. So now I'm going to choose what groups these are my Facebook groups. So I would choose what groups I want this to go in. I really want a classic Mustang. That's why there's a Mustangs group. And then they have other groups that they will suggest that you might want to sell in. So you can look up those groups and see if you think that those are something that you want to post in. Obviously, the more groups that you're in, the more people that are going to see it, but there's also more chance that somebody's going to try to scam you. So, somebody who lives in Surprise is probably not going to drive to Gilbert to buy this thermometer. And if they are, I'm going to be suspicious. So, so I would just post it in all those groups, and then I hit publish. There we go. And then Facebook will ask you again if you want to boost your listing because they want to make more money. And then if I decide later on that, okay, $15 is too much to ask for this, then I can go in and I can edit the listing and I can change it to $10. And then it'll just update it. Now, I actually posted this, so I'm going to have to delete it at the end here, otherwise people are going to be contacting me about this thermometer that I'm not selling. The other thing is, if you have agreed with someone to sell it, you want to go in and mark it as pending. And so that's showing that other people who are interested, that there's a potential buyer in, and they, you've made arrangements with them to come. Now, sometimes those buyers won't show up. That happens. Probably I don't get buyers that don't show up. I get people that will say they're interested in, and I'll say, yes, it's still available. Are you still interested? And then they ghost me. I don't hear from them again. And I don't chase them down and say, are you still interested? If they're interested, they're going to reach out to me. So I don't chase them at all. I can share the listing if I want to share it on my friend's page or somewhere else, another group or something. You can click share listing. You can share it to a friend's profile. You can view the listing, see what you put. So it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just following the steps. And so then now I'm just going to go in and delete the listing. But if I sold something, it will ask me, did you sell it on Facebook? And I'll say, yes, I sold it, or no, I didn't sell it. I don't know why it went away so quickly, but I don't know if it'll show in here. Maybe not.
I don't think it will, actually.
Okay. So Facebook just usually likes to ask, did you sell it on Facebook or not? And if you did, you don't have to tell them. I think one of the choices I prefer not to answer, and you can just prefer not to answer. Or if you did sell on Facebook and you say yes, it will ask you if you sold it to any of these people, and it'll be the people who reach out to you about that item. And then you can say, yes, I sold it to, Patricia. And then Facebook might, I don't know because I don't usually buy stuff, I usually sell stuff, but Facebook might reach out to Patricia and say, did you buy this on Facebook? Did you have a good experience? Do you want to make a rating? Things like that. So that is the basic gist of everything that I have sold on Facebook. I've been selling on Facebook. I'm trying to look here when I started. So I started selling on Facebook in June of 2021. And I've sold quite a bit of stuff. Big stuff, little stuff. But once I learned about the scammers with the Venmo and the Zelle, that made a huge difference for me because I got a lot less messages. I used to get a lot of messages from scammers until I posted that. And so I would highly recommend take Venmo or Zelle because it will save you a lot of time. Because obviously you get excited when you see, oh, somebody's interested, and then it's just some jerk who's trying to scam you.